This is my English speaking practice, and I'm talking about my personal development. And yesterday I was busy and I took the day off, and today I continue to implement time limit feature on the server side. Yep. And for the time limit feature, I added new properties in the game logic state. It's a time limit object and request validation object. This is for the time limit, and this object has a deadline. This field has a deadline timestamp for the actions. And if the deadline is exceeded, the default task which is set to this object is is triggered, or this default task is pushed to task queue and execute it. And in order to avoid the request, in order to avoid executing twice, for example, default task execution, and at the same time the user's request comes from user's request has come. The system need to control the execution flow, and the first request should be executed and the second request is should be rejected. So in order to implement this, I introduced this object, validation. This is for the request validation, and this has information or expected information, who should take actions and what types of requests should be expected. And this field, thanks to this field, the system can validate the request and can avoid the request can avoid the duplicated execution. So today I'm going to take on the implementation, and I needed to implement for 10 types of requests, and the request object is defined in this type, and the key is the request type code. Request type. So no. This is the response type, and in the response type, we defined the required actions. This type, required type, means required actions. So these information, these types prompt players to take action about for each types of for each type of response. So there are 10 types of required actions. So So all I have to do is I should update the process where the required action is set. So I can search search it in the project, and for example the move from server, which is requiring to take an action for move, and at this process should be set time limit and request validation, and yeah, the deadline is set to 30 minutes, 30 seconds later, and default task is like this. The payload is player's ID, who should take action, and the position means the destination, the next player move to. Next player move to, and the default action. In the default action, the destination is set to current position. So if the next player cannot take action within the deadline, the next player stays on the same position. Yeah, and request validation is like this. The system expects the request type is move, and player ID is of course next player ID. Yeah, this function is called when the turn ends. So next player is the player who should take action at the time, and this line is never changed, but required action is set to like this. And yeah, this is a request type is move, and in order to wrap request using utility function requiring wrap, and limited time is set. Limited time is same as deadline, and also set to 30 seconds. And I think this is not needed, basically not needed, but this is used for the client side time limit feature. So I leave this feature. Yeah, so this is the example. So I'm going to take on the remaining 9 types of requests. So number 2, proposal alliance from server. Proposal alliance from server, and but there is two places to use this type. This one is check propose alliance handle, and check if the player can propose alliance, which means the player entered the area where the other player is. Yes. So if the other player exists, um, yeah, return the propose alliance from server. So, and yeah, okay. Okay, so basically this is the same process. So I want to, okay, I wanted to update this function, but there is no logical state ls. So in order to I want to time limit in the logical state. So I have to update this, and deadline is 30 seconds later, and default task is propose alliance, but not propose alliance, and payload is propose alliance to server. So I think no, default task is task. Okay, I see. And the task name is prioritize, and the field, there are 5 fields, and the propose alliance, the player is same, and the proposer will be same player, and target ID in the target to propose alliance is could be multiple players, but as a default behavior, the system choose the first player, and but it's not important. The important thing is skip flag. This is set to true. So it means proposed alliance is skipped by this. So these informations is not important, not reflected, so this is good as a default behavior. So time limit is set correctly, and request validation is so so easy. This is same value. The different part from move sample is custom request and simple request. There are 2 types of request. You can see the request object, and there is simple and custom, and the simple type of request is converting tasks directly. So this is the request type payload, and also, for example, move to server is request payload, move on train to server is request payload, but the different point is simple and custom. And as you can see the move example, move to server is not used for task type. You can see this is the task, and the task payload is like this. And on the other hand, the move request type is move as how to say small character, small letter, non-capitalized, capitalized. This is a task type, and this is the request type. And so there are different task, and request is different, but almost all of the request like this is defined as a simple type, and the simple type is can be a simple use. So there is no conversion process request to task. This type is also used for task. So for now, propose alliance from server is propose alliance to server correspond or 対応する。Okay, corresponding. The proposed alliance from server is corresponding proposed alliance to server. So if the player receives the required actions, that is proposed alliance from server, the players should take an action and should make a request of proposed alliance to server. And this type of request is simple, so the player should request this type of request, and also this type of task is pushed. So the default task type is also propose alliance to server. So I should the type name is this key is the request type and also task name. Okay, so the default task is also good. Request validation is same name of this default task. And in this function, just set the required action of proposed alliance. Okay, so that's it. So next, accept alliance, but there is no use. Why? Accept alliance. Yeah, here. What? I'm confused. Why? Why there is no accept alliance to server process? Yeah, this is the accept alliance handler, so mm, yeah. But there are no this. I see, I see. Okay. Hmm? This is notify, so I don't think. This is the. This is it. This is it. So this is the function for the proposer, and this is the function for the acceptor. The player who accepts the propose, who are applied to the proposal, and yeah, so the player should reply for accept or not. So let's take a look the part where this function is called, and yeah, this is here proposal alliance handler. uh, yeah. This function is a little bit confusing confusing name. Proposal alliance handler. This is called when the propose is happened. So propose is happened, the server send to the receiver, hey, accept or not. So do you accept or not? So skip is okay, and proposer and target ID is same is okay. Nothing happened, and these are the invalid state. So we can ignore, and if all validation is passed, the server should set time limit and request validation, and this is prioritize propose alliance. No, accept alliance should be same accept alliance. And accept alliance to service like this. Player ID is accepted, proposer ID, target ID, area ID, like this. And the as a default behavior is accepted should be false. And yeah, other value is this should be target ID because yeah, this action is taken by acceptor, so acceptor is target ID. So this is correct payload, and the request validation should, yeah, target ID is correct. Yeah, like this. Okay. Next. The next is by vehicle from server. By vehicle. So this is it. So at here, payload is set to, yeah, as a by vehicle, so the player can choose by vehicle or not. And yeah, so the time limit is set, and the request validation is set, and prioritize. But by vehicle is not simple type, I think. By vehicle is, yeah, custom type, so we need to care about task name and request name. Request name is by vehicle, so the request validation request type should be by vehicle, but the task type is, we can look at task.ts and by vehicle. So we should choose prioritize by bike or prioritize by car. I think this structure is not good. There is a historical reason. I think I want to refactoring this part, but for now I go with this and prioritize by bike. As a default, I choose prioritize by default, and should be the player ID, and its skip is default payload, and skip is true is okay, and the request type remains by vehicle. This is not same, so AI is confused. So yeah, I think this is not a good way to definition. I want to update, but I will fix next time. Okay, I set the task time limit and request validation, and the payload is the same. Yeah, for client is set. It's okay. Okay. Next, buy resource from server. But there is no type of use. Like this. Check market handler. Yes. So if the player moved on the purge terminal or imprint terminal, buy resource means so to acquire delta fish, so it means imprint terminal. So when the player move on the imprint terminal, this handler is called, and the player can buy resource imprint data fish. So I update the time limit and request validation, and yeah, take a look at definition. This should be implemented simple task. Yeah, I think buy resource, simple buy resource to server. So buy resource to server is correct as a default, and the name is by resource, prioritize by resource. Okay. Yeah. And the player ID and the money amount and is skip. Yeah, this is good as a default value, and the request validation is also good. Wait. Yeah. Huh? Yeah, okay. Okay, next. Next is celery sauce. Yeah. Celery sauce is, yeah. Okay, here is when the player move on the purge terminal, time limit is set, request validation is set, the request type name is good, and this is save, and the default payload is sell resource to server and player ID and resource amount, and skip is true. Yeah, okay, all good. Next, move on train from server. Yeah, this is called player move on a cell, and if the current cell is station, it means synchro gate synchro gate. And when the player move on the synchro gate, this function is reach here, and available destination is calculated, and it is returned to the client as information for the player. So we can add a time limit object here, and request validation is like this, and the name, request type name is, this is okay, and the type, this is same. The payload is destination and player ID, so like this, and the destination is so I think this, because if the player move on the valid synchro gate, the player can only move to next station, and available destination is set to fixed destination, so there are no choice, so the system should choose the first element. If the current cell doesn't have a next station, the available destination is empty, but this is invalid state, so in this case the runtime error happen here, but it's not happen. If this happen, it's something wrong, so this is okay. So we can set the correct information. Okay, next. I think this task is able to be implemented by AI. Not able, almost able, but I think it isn't going to be perfect, because there are some tips to define these informations. Request type name and task type name and the payload, and the player ID is sometimes next player or other player. So I think AI cannot do it perfectly, so I will do by myself. But remaining 3 tasks. Trigger trap from south. Trigger trap is here. here. This function is called when the player move on the water node where the trap is set. At the time, player can escape from trap, so player need to pay some amount of data fish to escape, so player can choose avoid or not avoid. If not avoid, a player pay 3 times of the base amount of data fish, and the data fish that paid by the player is transferred to the player who set the trap. This is a trap system, and yeah, as well, in the same way, time limit is set to 30 seconds later, and the request type is, yeah, this is good, and trigger trap to server, yeah, this is good, position and escape and payload resource. And as a default behavior, escape is false. Yeah, and the position is a position, yeah, and the paid resource, the trapped player may not pay the resource, so this value should be 0. And let's take a look this task execution. If the escape is true, the paid resource should be greater than set amount to escape. But if the escape is not true, trap effect happens. So player don't need to request the paid resource. So the escape is true is no, escape is false is important, and other information is not important. Okay, so this is correct, and request validation is like this, and yeah. Okay, next. Buy resource to server? Huh? No. Set up trap. Okay. This is here. This is called when the player move on the water node where the player can set up the trap to set up trap. Yeah, so in the same way, yeah, like this, and set trap to server is pay amount, position, type, and duration. Yeah. Yeah. I defined the cell trap type, but there is only one type of trap resource. And player ID and pay amount, and position, duration. Yeah. I think pay amount is 0 means not set the trap. I think to confirm take a look at set trap handler. Pay amount, yeah, if the pay amount is 0, this function return and nothing happen. So I think yeah, there is important information and other information is not important, and request validation is same. This is simple request, so same name is okay. Next, confirm interest. This function is called when the player confirm the interest by virtual share, but this feature is outdated because by the virtual share the increased interest is reflected on the player's share capacity immediately, so no need to confirm interest. But this function is needed because I haven't implemented yet. Need to be able to reject the virtual share relation. So in order to reject the virtual share relationship, this function is used. So this function has a function for confirmation or reject. So in order to reject, this function is used. So in this function, prompting players to confirm, do you want to continue the virtual share or you want to reject the virtual share, like this. So in order to ask this question, this alliance ID is information for the users. So the request type is this, and default task is alliance ID and is confirmed. Okay. And this flag is so important. To reject the virtual share is confirmed flag set to false. So as a default task, confirm is false and the virtual share is finished. Okay, I have implemented all of the time limit feature about required actions. So these required actions is prompting user to take actions, and then if the player cannot request the request about actions. These actions, the server side triggers default tasks. Yeah. Okay, so let's take a look. Let's take a look at this. And this function is receive the request, and in order to implement the time limit feature on the server side, there is a new request type, heartbeat, and this is called all of the players. So if the one player is having this one player have required action, and the also of course required action has a time limit, and the heartbeat is called every seconds by all of the players. So it means this function is called every seconds, and every seconds heartbeat handler is called. And in this handler, check if the time limit is exceeded or not. This object is set. Just now I set the time limit information of all of the requests. So the time limit is exceeded, the default task is pushed to the task queue. This default task is also set just now. So this is the mechanism. And if the task is pushed to the task queue is task queue task queue is generate tasks, and I think generate task and prioritize task. This is sorting tasks. And the task is executed. Task is executed by this function. This function is loop over task queue, and takes from the first element of the task queue, and task executor execute and get task result, and based on the task result, this function decides whether loop continue or not. If the task result type is pause, task queue is remaining, but the loop is broken. Loop is broken. If the task type is return, the task queue is set to empty. It means something wrong. So other clean the task queue and return the current state. It means break the loop. And if the task type is end game, it means the game is end, so end game function is called and return the final game state. It contains the game results. And yeah, or not pause, not return, not end game. Yeah, there is a continue type. Task loop is continue, so next task is executed. This is loop mechanism, task loop mechanism. Yeah. And I saw it in the previous video. This function is block concurrency. So from this, so strictly from this, so fetch the game state from the storage and update the state. Going through these processes, update the game state, and the game state is updated and stored to the storage, and all of these process is executed with blocking concurrency, so the task state is never conflicts. So the request validation is work. Request validation is used here. Heartbeat is also called the next function, but not heartbeat request. It always checked by request validation. Yeah. The player who requested is expected player ID, and the request type is expected request type or not. Yeah. If the request is valid, this is called, it means task is generated based on the request and update the game state. It means update the required actions and request validation and time limit. So time limit is extended next 30 seconds later. Yeah, like that. So I think it works. Okay, I just implement it, but the test will fail, I think. Okay, some tests are good, but let's take a look. One test failure. Okay, I understand. In order to make it valid, we should set the game logic state request validation. Bob, and request type is move. Okay, okay, like this. Like this. So I need to update all of the test cases about this, but I'm worn out today, so it's time to finish this video. So tomorrow I want to update the tests and make the time limit seconds configurable. By this, can I can test the game automatically. Yeah. Okay. So thank you for watching today. Bye bye.